Welcome back, Hot Wheel collectors and diecast enthusiasts, to another episode of Cribb's Garage. Today we're featuring the Ford GT40 and the 1966 Le Mans race as told through diecast. What we're looking at is the Hot Wheels Ford GT40. The GT stands for Grand Tour and 40 is for the height, 40 inches. So from the base to the roof is 40 inches. If you think of a yardstick as 36 inches, add 4 inches on top of it. It's not, it's a pretty low car. And Ken Miles, one of the drivers, actually, how he got his big frame in there, it's beyond me. But anyhow, so some of us think that this might be the one from the 1966 Le Mans, but it's not. It's a Phil Rillman based on the Mach 1 Ford GT40 Mach 1, which is was not raced in 1966, but it did race in 1968 and won. And at the time, it was the number 9, driven by Lucien Bayanelli and Pedro Rodriguez. And then it repeated in 1969 as the number 6, ridden by a pair of jackies, Jackie Isaacs and Jackie Oliver. And they had this Golf livery paint job. And the funny thing is that Howells has it as a number 8. They don't have it as the 6 or the 9. So I tried to find some decals at Walmart and even Staples Center, and I couldn't. So I ended up Googling 1/64 scale race decals, and I came across this. So I'm going to put a 6 on here. I ordered another one of these. I'm going to put the 9, so I have both the 69 and 68 car. So if you guys are interested in that, that's something you can do, and you'll have those two cars you can display. So there's the Ford GT40, the Mach 1. Up next is the Mach 4 GT40. And this one is legit. It was red, paint job just like this, and number 1. And it was driven by a pair of Americans, Dan Gurney and A.J. Foyt. A.J. Foyt was a rookie at that point, and they raced against the Ferraris. It was the second year after so 1967, after they came in first, second, and third, like Ford v Ferraris. And I think that they might make a repeat or a second Ford v Ferrari based on the 1967 one, because it's just as good a story, if not better. So two Americans have never won, or a full team of Americans have never won Le Mans, except for this year here with Gurney and A.J. Foyt. And who they beat was the Ferrari P4s, which Hot Wheels does make. They do not make the P3s, which are the ones that Ford beat in 1966. There's no P3 1/64 scale Ferraris that I could find, or if there are some, they're ridiculously expensive. So maybe Hot Wheels will make one, maybe not, because they were losers, so why make a loser car? I don't know. But anyhow, so this is the P4, so that's who they race against. And in this car was the one that they competed against was a red Ferrari, and it was number 21, and it was driven by Parks and Scarfiotti. Those names are important, and so is the number, because it was so they raced the number 21, and anyhow, so they won that race. I'm going to put you up there. I'm going to bring you down. And then we're going to get to the actual cars. So I've been looking for the excuse me, it's music's driving by here. The Ford GT Mach 2 that was at Le Mans, and here it is. And it's made by Auto World, and it's one of 6,000. And I got this open, and we're going to show you. But also, check this out. They've got the, I don't know if you can see that, they got the number 2 and the number 5. So those are the 3 cars that finished 1, 2, 3 at Le Mans in 1966. So they have all 3, and I have them. Here's the packaging for the number 5. This one was 1 out of 3,600. And the black one was 1 out of 3,600. So kind of tough to find. All right, so important. Well, let's put them on the wheel and take a look at them. So here's the number 1. This was the one driven by Miles and Home. Ended up taking 2nd place. This is Auto World. Nice rubber wheels and metal base. Here's the one that ended up winning. We'll talk about how that happened. Controversial finish. That was the one bit driven by McLaren and Chris Amon. And then here's the number 5. So the first 2 cars were Shelby America. This sponsor here was Hellman Moody. And that was driven by Bucknam and Hutcherson. So those were your 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place cars, and we'll get over that. So I got going down this rabbit hole. I finally found the Mach 1s. I'm excited. And not only did I find the one, I found the 1st, 2nd, 3rd car. But then when I went to check out the more research and the pole position, I came across realizing that this car here is the number 3. So that's another reason why I need to get the stickers, put a number 3 on this. And this was in the number 1 pole position, driven by Gurney and Grant. This here is a Shelby, from the Shelby collection. Shelby Collectibles. I got that on eBay. I got the Auto Worlds from Walmart online. And then, this is what's really crazy. So, the cars were lined up in 1st pole position was the red number 3 Gurney Grant, then Miles Home, and then number 1, then Whitmore Gardner in the number 8. Whitmore Gardner. And check this out. Number 3, Whitmore Gardner. And this is from a brand called Zoom. And I picked this up at a place called 57 Supply Diecast. Lot 57 Supply Diecast is where I got this. Lots of neat cars from them. I don't know if you heard of them, but I would go check them out. Okay, so I'm going to pull this back. I'm going to show you guys a little something. So, in the pole position in Le Mans in 1966, cars weren't lined up like NASCAR. They weren't lined up like this. They were like this. There was the first one right there, first place, or number one in pole position. Then the number 2, then the number 3, and the number 5 was way over here, and it was the number 9. So there was a bunch of cars in between. Oh, wait a minute, there's one more. There it is, the number 4, the McLaren. And this is important because so when the cars started, I don't know if you guys remember Speed Racer in the beginning of the show where racers are running across the street and jumping in their cars and then taking off. Well, that's how they did it at Le Mans. You were across the road, across the track, and you ran to your cars right when they said go, and you jump in your car and you take off. And that's how they started the race. And of course, this one being the fastest at the pole position, it's up in the front, and then it goes all the way down to the slowest car that direction. And I think there was 50 cars racing at that year. Well, when it started, a few things happened. The Ferrari number 20. Let's pretend this is a number 20 Ferrari. Was coming down the track and almost hits the number 8 as it was coming out, which cut off Miles, so almost ended his race right from the get-go. But the Ferrari got through, and then the 8, and then Miles ended up going. But Miles had a problem with his car. He couldn't close his windshield, so he had to drive one-handed, holding his window open, almost like driving with an open door. So he had to do one lap, and meanwhile, the Ferrari number 20 had already went around, and it was leading. And that car was driven by Sciarrotti, Parks and Sciarrotti, and it was a number 20. So remember we went back and we said that in 1967 the Mach 4 beat the same team, but they were in the number 21. So the year prior they were in the number 20, and he was ahead by 2 laps. So Miles had to catch up with him, and before Miles did lap him for the second time to get the lead, the car crashed, and then Miles went on to pass him. So then, at the final day, he was ahead by so far, and the second and third place cars were like this. So he told him, Miles, to slow down and let the other cars catch up and have a photo finish of all 3 cars. So they did. So they came in like this, all 3 lined up. So when he got to the finish line, he thought, all right. Oh, before that, there's like a Grand Slam or a Triple Crown. It's kind of like winning all the Masters in golf or winning the Grand Slam in tennis, all 3 major tennis opens or whatever it is, or in surfing, it's the Triple Crown, the 3 surf contests in Hawaii. So he won the 24-hour Daytona that year, and then the next one was the 12-hour Sebring. So all he had to do is win this Le Mans, and he had won the whole 3, which I'm not sure if anybody's ever done that, but he would have done that. So if he did do it, he'd be an elite company if anybody else did it, or he'd be the only one that did it. I'm not sure how that is right now. But anyhow, as it goes, they get through, and he's thinking he won, but the racing officials are like, no, hold on. they gave it to McLaren. Now, why did they give it to McLaren if they all three came and he was ahead? Because McLaren, if you remember, at the pole position was down here. He was 8 meters farther than Miles, and because he was 8 meters, he traveled 8 meters farther laps than him. So therefore, he wins. What a nightmare, right? And but he wasn't too bitter about it, and he eventually went up and congratulated him. So let's see what else. Oh yeah, if you're curious, so we know who got first. Second and third, but who got fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh? Where were the Ferraris? Well, the Porsche (906) LE got fourth and fifth and sixth, and it ended up getting fourth through seventh. The seventh one wasn't an LE. I'm not sure what LE stands for. I want to say limited edition, but I don't know if that's what that's for. But so the Porsches were the next fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh, in case you're curious. And the closest was the 8th place for the Ferrari that year. And they didn't win another Le Mans until 2023, and then again they won in 2024. So Ford shut them down, and that's the story of the F40, except it's not over yet, because 2016 marked the 50th anniversary of that Le Mans race. So Ford decided, what are we going to do? It's the 50th anniversary. So let's build back the Ford GT40 and go back to Le Mans and win. And this is what they came up with. The 2016 Ford GT40 Mach 4. And it was a disaster. At first they didn't even finish the Daytona 24, and they just as bad at Sebring, but they were able to get everything together, and they ended up winning 50 years later the Le Mans, going back after their first win. This is a mini GT. Here, I got this off of eBay too, I believe. So, there you go. That's the story of the Ford GT40, the Mach 1, the Mach 2, and the Mach 4. And I've got another really cool story for you guys coming up soon. A totally different car. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's Memorial Weekend. I'm off today, Friday, and I'm off until Wednesday. And it's like the first weekend of summer here in California. So enjoy. Peace out. Enjoy your barbecue, and peace out.